This is Lewis Hart for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store Forged Irish Stout. Delighted to be joined on Monday morning with Adam Smith. It is Monday, and there's definitely no Monday blues after witnessing what we did on the weekend. Other than that, how are things, mate? How are you?
No Monday blues, and what a week ahead as well with your call GBM Friday night, Lawrence Okolie in Poland, and the Catterall Taylor rematch, then the 5v5 in 12 days' time. It just doesn't stop. But what a weekend! I mean, what a
Yeah,
weekend for sport with the culmination of the Premier League. My beloved Jurgen Klopp leaving Liverpool. We had the golf late last night. It was all happening. But yeah, centre stage, of course, was what happened out in Riyadh, and a wonderful, wonderful fight for the undisputed title. And I'm just so happy that after all the build-up and all the, in many eyes, people's nonsense, and you get involved, and everyone says, "Is it going to be any good at the end of this?" And you go, "Well, when that bell goes, you don't know what's going to happen. It could turn into a dull affair. Fighters make millions. You just don't know what's going through their minds." But I just knew with these two that they would give us something, and I thought they gave us more than something. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I thought it was breathtaking to watch from start to finish. I thought Oleksandr Usyk was a deserved and terrific undisputed champion, crowned as one of the great fighters, not only of this era but of any era, in his defining night. And I would put him straight to the top of the pound for pound mythical list. And people might argue about Terence Crawford. I'm sure, in a way, Canelo, many others have their rights, Gervonta Davis, to be around there or on it. But for me, what Oleksandr Usyk has done, from being a startling amateur with Olympic gold medal, world gold, 335 wins in the unpaid ranks, then cleaning up at cruiserweight undisputed, winning the Super Six, and then dipping his toes into the heavyweight division. People thought he was mad and he could never fight the really super big guys, but he's managed to beat Anthony Joshua twice and Tyson Fury once. So I don't think he's done too badly,
yeah,
Lewis.
yeah.
For me, also couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. Couldn't have happened to a guy who's got the whole country behind him of Ukraine. He's got his beloved people in such a terrible situation that they've had in the last couple of years, fighting on the front line, getting his family to safety, and still continuing, with the blessing of everybody in Ukraine to aim for his goal, which was to become
Yeah.
the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. He did it. He did it brilliantly. Was it close at times? Of course it was. Could he have almost got the stoppage in the ninth round? Yes. Were there times where I thought Tyson Fury in 4 or 5 of those middle rounds was turning it on its head and was giving Usyk no chance? Yes. It made a great fight. Oleksandr Usyk won the fight for me. He won it by 2, 3 rounds, and I think it was the icing on the cake for a wonderful career, fabulous career. He looks the youngest 37 in the world to me, and
Yeah.
maybe Tyson's looking slightly an older 35. But yeah, they're both deserving immense credit. Both of them, I guess, took it in a way where I think Oleksandr Usyk was exhausted and emotional and
Yeah.
endured nothing else, and Tyson was disappointed, felt he'd won it. Yeah, some of the rounds were close. I can see, I think Richie Woodall had it a draw, one or two others had it pretty tight, but most people I spoke to had it Usyk by 2, by 3. I don't think it really mattered on the margin, but for me, Oleksandr
Yeah.
Usyk won that fight. I don't know what you felt, Lewis, but I believe he deserved to
Yeah.
become the undisputed champion, and I'm delighted for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I probably agree with you. I think I had it mainly like similar 115, 112 to Usyk, but I suppose I did want to get onto a point. And I saw a clip come out yesterday. It was obviously he was doing the watch along for TalkSport with Sonny Edwards, Adam Catterall, and Spencer Oliver. It was a great time in the ninth round of all of you just absolutely losing all your minds in round 9. So I think you probably echoed everyone in their living rooms, their pubs, and everything like that. Just great moments like that where you just can't quite believe what you're watching.
I think that's what we all are, Lewis. You, me, everyone on that panel, and I'm sure everyone in Saudi and watching it at home. We're fight fans, and we do lose the plot at times. I remember commentating when Danny Williams somehow won the
Yeah,
British title with one arm against Mark Potter. I mean, I was almost in the ring trying to sort of
yeah,
please him out. And the great fights I've been privileged to comment enough to commentate on over the years, like Diego Corrales and Jose Luis Castillo won. I mean, just amazing moments. And that was actually one that stands out was when I think it was David Hay, Amir Khan, and Glenn McCrory were in the
yeah.
studio in Manchester
Oh,
Arena.
okay. Oh, yeah.
1, and they were starting to eat their sandwiches. You know, they think we'll have a bit of time into round 1, and Froch gets knocked down, and the sandwiches go flying. There are moments like that when you know, it's in here, isn't it? And yeah, I mean, no one could hear. Sonny was going, no one can hear what anyone's saying. You know, but it was, you just lose the plot. And I think it was just surprising. I think other way around. I think if Fury had laid out, it would have been exactly the same reaction. I don't think it was one or the other. It was just something happened that was bang in front of us, and wow. And I think especially Fury, for me, it picks up a lot of those middle rounds. And Usyk had come out the 8th, and suddenly he had his second wind, and he was boxing like he did at the beginning, cutting the corners off, electric pace. He's found himself again, and suddenly got Fury so hurt on those ropes, and very, very lucky to get through it. I, for one, I know a lot of people are saying it should have been stopped, and I think there's an argument that is the case. It was very, very close, the ropes, the bell, etc. Spencer Oliver said in the studio that 1 minute wasn't enough for Fury. But I think the fact that the fight went on and the legs came back pretty much straight away, and he boxed pretty well, maybe not winning all those last few minutes, but he boxed well enough to get through the 12 rounds. I think that sort of shows that the recuperation powers, the fitness, the training, but also how much he wants it in a fight of that magnitude, the undisputed. I think if Tyson had come out for the 10th round and he'd been quickly stopped, people would have said, well, it should have been stopped in the 9th. But it wasn't, and it got back into a rhythm, and Usyk probably just stayed off him a little bit. And I was like, why aren't you following it through? Why aren't you putting the pressure on? He just stood back a bit, and maybe that's the intelligence of waiting for the wounded animal. But yeah, I'm glad for one it did go the 12 rounds, because we all got an incredible 36 minutes of action. And Lewis, it lived up to the billing. And that's the
definitely
thing. I don't think it was as great a fight, maybe as Holyfield, Bo 1, or AJ Klitschko with the ups and downs, or Fury Wilder. You know, some of those, the third one, some of those. But I thought it was really, really good. And for a disputed fight, it was a better fight than Lewis Holyfield. For me, I loved it.
I was going to say, you mentioned earlier about Usyk coming on stronger later in the rounds, and I think a lot of people had Fury picking up the mid rounds, and then it all changed, I think, after round 8 and 9. How surprised were you to see Usyk actually turn the tide? Where I think after round 7, people would have probably said that Fury could cruise to quite a comfortable decision here.
It was ebbing and flowing, wasn't it? I felt the first 3 rounds. I always thought, Lewis, the first 6 minutes were crucial to this fight. But if he had got into a rhythm, Fury would have problems, and he did. He got into a rhythm. He took the fight to him. He cut the corners. It was brilliant tactics. It was risky tactics, but he did it, and he did it thoroughly. And this showboating with Fury, fun and games, might have lost him a couple of those early rounds. I don't know. Did Usyk win all 3 of the first 3 rounds? He certainly 2 of them. So whether he won all 3, so there is that slight thing. The studio guys seem to think all 3. The next few were definitely Fury. I thought. 4, 5, 6, 7, definitely Fury. So you probably had Fury in the lead, maybe by 1, maybe by 2 by this point. And then it was the tide turned in the 8th. And then obviously with the 10-8 round, and you know, he won most of the rest of the fight, Usyk. Again, you could have given Fury one of those rounds. So I can see why people think Usyk by 4, 5. I can see why people think Usyk by 2, 3, which is sort of where I was. And I could also see people thinking it was maybe, you know, even tighter. Richie Woodall had it a draw. I think some others had it pretty close. I don't think there's many people I've seen who've had it to Fury. The judge obviously by 1 point. Tyson's camp felt they won it. And look, it wasn't a robbery by any time. It was a close fight. It was a tight fight. But I did feel that Tyson needed a knockdown at least in the last round, if not a knockout. So that's how I felt. That's how I saw it. And but I couldn't believe that Usyk changed the tide again. I thought once Fury had him, he looked twice as big as him in the ring in that 6th round. He looked huge, the uppercut and everything. And by about the 11th round, I was thinking Usyk looks bigger than Fury. I mean, it was weird. It was a strange fight, but and that's why I think you give so much credit to Oleksandr Usyk and his team for the tactics, for that rhythm, that pace, that cutting the angles, the footwork, it's the consistency. And we talked a little about it before we went on air at TalkSport about, you know, Tyson not blowing up in between fights, quite like Ricky used to do, but certainly, you know, not sort of always being in tip-top shape. And liking to have his time out of the ring, whereas Usyk tends just to be a natural, dedicated athlete. And I think that, you know, he did, didn't he, look the youngest 37-year-old? I mean, he was just an incredible performance from Oleksandr Usyk.
Yeah.
Tyson Fury was good. He was very good at times. And at times, I thought he may be just not quite as quick as he once was. But he was very good. Oleksandr was brilliant. That's the difference. I think he read the fight, and I think he adapted better than Tyson Fury. He got it right at the beginning. He was under all sorts of problems and pressure. It was running away from him in the middle rounds. Fury was brilliant with that long reach, finding the gaps. He found that range. Because Fury's jab hadn't worked well enough in the first three.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then the last part is he after the knockdown, it was always going to be tough, or knockdown, or the held up, the 10-8. But it was always going to be tough for Tyson, I think.
Yeah.
A lot must have drained out of him. But no, full respect to both of them for going the distance. But for me, Oleksandr Usyk won it, and he won it nicely, and he's the undisputed champion. And it's a brilliant story for global sport with what's happening in the Ukraine. And I mean, could it have happened to a nicer guy? What an inspiration Oleksandr Usyk is to everyone around the world. I think he's fantastic. Fighting on the front line for the country, looking after his kids in camp, going there, never says anything of any sort of, you know, he always keeps himself cool and calm and professional, doesn't he? And but he's funny. He's a funny guy to be around. And nice team. Happy for Alex and Aegis. Obviously devastated for Andy and Sugar and Tyson and first defeat. But you know they'll come back, and the rematch will be a great affair because Tyson will believe he'll win it, and he'll go back and he'll realise that he's got to have a better start, and they'll work on the little things. Oleksandr will gain even more in confidence. You know, it's in 6 months' time, so anything can happen in that period as well. And I don't think complacency will come in. I think Fury will go back to that drawing board, and I think he'll come back, and he'll want it so badly next time. There's people who say, "Oh, Tyson Fury's finished," all that. I don't think so.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah, I was going to say that.
Something to himself more than anyone. Otherwise, he'd have retired a long time ago with the money, wouldn't he? I think it's a pride thing. You think he's a fighter. He's a born fighter. He'll want to try and right what he thinks is a wrong. In my eyes, it wasn't a wrong. Oleksandr Usyk won the fight, fair and square. Let's fight. Let's have a rematch. But it does make for a compelling rematch. It wasn't one-sided like Khan and Brook. We couldn't go a game with that. How we can go a game with this one? We could go 3 times.
I was going to say, when it comes to obviously what's next, do you think that there is enough claim for a potential trilogy with AJ and Usyk? I know Usyk has 2 wins against him, but when we see like this rejuvenated AJ, can you make a claim for that?
I mean, Oleksandr, I don't know the legalities and the contract and the rematch, but he could just walk away, couldn't he? And he's done everything.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I think the rematch will happen. There's a huge amount of money that he'll make, obviously, from it as the champion now. So yeah, I think he could fight. I mean, he could fight on for another 2-3 years with his conditioning if he wants to. Definitely, if the second fight is the same sort of thing, of course you can go again. And I also think you can't rule out an Usyk AJ 3 because yes, Usyk won the first fight pretty comfortably. It was a better performance from AJ in the second fight, and he seems like he's improving even more. So I would definitely like to see that third fight. And I wonder what AJ's thinking. He's probably saying, right, September I get the winner of Bogovic or Dubois. Let's see if I can get hold of a title. Are they going to vacate? Is the IBF going to become suddenly available? Who knows? But AJ's got to keep on winning. And what happens to Fury AJ? It's a fight that can always happen, be it now, 2 years, 3 years, but we want it sooner rather than later. But there's a bit of traffic at the moment now because there has to be the rematch. There has to be AJ in another fight in September. So all that's got to unfold. So we're now looking at definitely 2025 for AJ Fury. And it could be that AJ, if Usyk wins again, AJ could go for Usyk and try and become undisputed. That's been his goal, not necessarily fighting Tyson Fury. Everyone in Britain wants to see the Tyson Fury fight at Wembley. AJ wants to be a 3-time heavyweight champion and the undisputed heavyweight champion and seal his place in history forever. That's what his goal and his game. That's what he wants. But come on, we all want AJ Fury, so that's got to happen too. So yeah, there's a conundrum out there. There's a magic pot for Turkey and Dr. Rakan to delve into. But you know, although in many ways Tyson Fury had brought the Saudis in, I mean AJ did originally a few years back, but in this sort of Turkey Al Sheikh Dr. Rakan world, you know, Tyson Fury was very much the first guy in, wasn't he? With
Yeah.
bronzes and finals. So
Mhm.
he's lost, but Usyk and Fury will fight again. And look, we've got 5v5 in a couple of weeks, and on we go. It's going to be brilliant, Lewis.
Absolutely. I suppose we'll move on to this weekend. It's a very, very busy weekend, but we can't ignore York Hall, May 24th. GBM are making their London debut. Obviously, Lucas Ballingall takes on Casey Benjamin. And as you know, it's a great undercard. You've got the likes of Tommy Welch, who we all know what his dad done in the game. Tyson Gallagher, Stevie Levy, that started to had a little bit of added spice now. And, you know, a great, great card on May 24th this Friday.
Fraser and Lennox too, Battle of the Unbeaten. 9. He's
Of
big
course.
Michael. He's on the card too. It's going to be great. And I was with Ticey the other day, and she's really bang up for this fight with Stevie Levy. I think that could steal the show. Yeah, it's another cram-packed GBM show. What he's doing is fantastic up and down the country. Now it's the capital. London's calling for the big one, and it's crammed start to finish of fantastic fights. York Hall had to be done, the historic venue that everybody wants to fight at. So it'll be rammed and packed to the rafters on Friday night. Can't wait for that. You've also got Lawrence Okolie out in Poland. Fascinating one fight that he needs to win, really, to get himself going again. That bridgerweight, cruiserweight, heavyweight, you know, where Lawrence is going to end up. But first and foremost, he's got to get the job done out there. My Summit business partner, Duncan's in his corner, will be with him. So very exciting times for Lawrence. And then, of course, Saturday night, I'm still deciding whether I want to try and get up there, actually just sit back and after drama of Friday, sit back and just watch it at home, enjoy it, because Taylor Catterall, I've been waiting, 2 years for it, like everybody. It's been a fantastic build-up. It's a rematch that everybody wants to see after the controversy first time around. And yeah, cannot wait. It's a great boxing fortnight ahead. And then you look further down the road, you've got Savannah Marshall in her MMA debut. You've got June the 15th with that epic cruiserweight Selhurst Park battle between Riyadh and Bill and Smith. It's fantastic. It's a great time for boxing these few weeks. It's non-stop. So no Monday blues. It's Monday alive. It's fantastic. I'm just about to go up to Loughborough to have a chat with the guys up there, and yeah, it's non-stop, and yeah, GBM all week for me. A lot of stuff for the Friday show, but I'll be keeping my eyes on everything, and I'll try and get a chat with Oleksandr Alex or Igis at some point when they've come back down to earth, because I'm very fond of Team Usyk. I'll try and catch up with Sugar Hill and Isaac and all the team around Tyson. I was sending the messages on the day, and look, it was a great night. I don't know what you thought, but I thought it was a great night for our sport, and that's the most important thing.
Absolutely. I suppose just before I do let you go, Adam, when it goes to sort of going back onto GBM, when it does go to them going to other areas, you know, they're predominant in Sheffield. Obviously, I know you've done shows in Coventry as well. How important is it to be confident that although, you know, on this card there is all different, there's almost new talent on there, or guys who've been making their GBM debuts, confident that almost that they could sell well and the show sells well, even though you're going to different areas as well.
Yeah, I mean, when I first sort of came into contact with Izzy a while ago, I saw him as a Sheffield or a Northern-based promoter, but 4 or 5 months ago, it all changed. It's like, no, we're gonna go up and down the country. We're gonna go over the Irish Sea. You know, this is serious, and we're gonna come down to the capital. Obviously, it's more comfortable for them in Yorkshire. They know the surroundings and the fighters. And yeah, but with Al Siesta on board and Steve Lillis, and we're all working together to make sure that the GBM show in London is a real statement that York Hall has looked like York Hall's never looked before, and that the boxing is absolutely terrific on TalkSport YouTube. That I think that's what GBM have got the reputation now of delivering these fantastic shows where there's these 50-50 fights, where there's good prospects, there's good stories, there's opportunities, there's some new talent. But yeah, of course, some of the fighters people may not have heard of, the casual fans, but this is an opportunity to come and see that, come and witness a GBM show live, or if you can't get down there on TalkSport YouTube, it's going to be an amazing night. I know how much work that's gone into this because I'm part of the team. I'm really excited. I think letting Izzy loose with his promotional skills in London, and we're back up to Coventry in a few weeks' time as well, in a barn burner of a show in Coventry with Danny and Niall Berry and Hughie Fury back, and the Irish boys. it's great not to see Kieran Malloy today. And I think that, yeah, there's some real good stars coming out of the GBM stable. I think it's fantastic, and really, really excited about May the 24th, June the 29th, and beyond with GBM. But as excited as everyone is about the boxing that's happening at the moment, and that we've got an undisputed heavyweight champion of the world that the world can be proud of. Oleksandr Usyk has made his dream come true. I couldn't be more happy for his team, who have been so good to work with over the years. Alex and all of them, they're fantastic people, and Oleksandr is a great guy. He deserved it on Saturday night. He boxed out of his skin. He needed to, against a brilliant guy in Tyson Fury, who put it all in as well. And the respect for the pair of them just goes up. And Fury again in another cracking fight. I mean, how many has he been in? It's just wonderful. And both will be remembered as legends of the sport. But for the first undisputed fight in a quarter of a century, in front of Lewis and Holyfield, and in front of the millions around the world, as Michael always says, who are watching, the boys delivered. Well done, Tyson. Well done, Oleksandr Usyk. Oleksandr Usyk's night, the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, with not only the WBC belt that he takes from Tyson Fury, but his own WBO, IBF, WBA, Ring Magazine, other belt, undisputed belt, Turkey's other belts, treasures. I don't know. How can he get it all back?
I have no idea.
I don't know how that suitcase is going to be full enough.
Yeah.
He'll be sending up to help pack.
I don't know how he's going to fit in it, because he's not only just got, he's going to fit that with the undisputed cruiserweight belt as well, the gold medals and all sorts of ones, and amateur as well. So he's going to have a very big trophy cabinet.
I mean, yeah, I can see a few trophies behind you, and there's one or two behind you. We'll like to put them up on the walls, but he must have a house, right?
Yeah, he's got to. Yeah,
I know Carl Froch's got a man cave where he's got all his stuff. Honestly, Oleksandr Usyk must have a house to put all his stuff. And I think what he made on Saturday night, he might be able to afford one.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
But what I love about him, he's down to earth. He's back with his family. Tyson's back to more, back with his family, back with his kids, and that's great respect to the pair of them. They're true prize fighters, and they gave us a night to remember. Well done, Tyson, and well done, Oleksandr Usyk, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Sounds good. We've got one, but for how long?
I don't know, and hopefully now Oleksandr is gonna keep it off the UK opponents, because he's been beating too many of our fighters recently. So hopefully it won't be too many more. But Adam, just wanted to say thank you for taking time to speak to me. I know you're very busy, so I do appreciate taking the time on a Monday morning, mate. And enjoy the show on Friday, and I appreciate it as always talking to you, mate. Top man.
Cheers, Lewis. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers, mate.